Hey guys, this is Ruckus Gaming coming at you with another episode of Tuesday Tips and Tricks. Today we're going to continue our series, What the Hell is Up with That? In this series, I aim to focus on some of those cards that are confusing or look very challenging to use or look intimidating to use because they might have some very negative drawback. And I want to show you guys the support pieces you need that can make those kinds of cards very, very beneficial to have and to work well within a deck. Today, we're going to be talking about Meteor Strike. Now, the funny thing about Meteor Strike is that damage-wise, it's not that great. I think even if you upgrade it, it is only 30 total damage for 5 energy, which ends up being about the same as a strike. Maybe it's able to kill one very small, low HP enemy quickly, but damage-wise, it's no more efficient than a strike, even upgraded. The main thing that this is going to give you as a benefit is the plasma, long-term energy. The unfortunate drawback, the thing that makes this card a little hard to take for newer players, is the high cost of 5 energy. Unless you are late into a run and you already have 2 energy relics from the Act 1 and 2 bosses, you might not immediately know how you could ever get to be able to play this card. I'm going to give you a couple quick answers. We're going to look at a run history I have here in just a moment. And one thing I do want to add as a side note, because we are going to be talking about a card that generates lots of energy, you should already be thinking about draw, because when you've got lots of energy, you're going to need to be able to get the cards to use the energy. So there are going to be a lot of cards that I think are great to have along with Meteor Strike that are not necessarily directly involved with generating the energy needed to play Meteor Strike, but will also be very important for making sure that you actually gain as much as you can from the benefits that it gives you in the extra energy, and that is drawing cards and manipulating your deck so you can actually use all of this extra energy. Let's just take a quick look at the run history here. I'm going to point out a couple of the most important cards and relics that helped me use this Meteor Storm or Meteor Strike to great effect. Then we're going to take a look at a couple clips from the run, the end of Act 3 and into Act 4, so you can see Meteor Strike in action. The very first piece that I took, even before I had the Meteor Strike, that was very useful for playing Meteor Strike was aggregate. This is a great way to generate energy, especially if you have a large deck. But I think even early in a run, I think I took this maybe late Act 1 or mid Act 2. Pretty early on, I took this, even with a deck that was not overly large at that point. Just because it was a good investment, I knew I would probably be adding a lot more cards to the deck. And this is the only thing that I had in my deck that made Meteor Strike possible when I took it at the end of Act 2. I didn't have lots of different things. I know people feel like you need to have multiple pieces to support a card like this, but really, even just 1 or 2 basic cards might be able to help you get it in play, and then you can pick up more as you go. So don't feel like you need to have the perfect deck already set up to take it. You can take it and then find the pieces for it later. That's not the same thing as forcing it, because fortunately many of the things that help you play and benefit from Meteor Strike you already want. You already want more energy cards and you already want more draw cards, so you're probably going to be taking this stuff anyway. Double energy was a very nice addition later on to the deck. especially because we had a energy relic working in our favor, but we'll get to that later. And this made playing the Meteor Strike very easy anytime we drew it. Turbo was another great, fantastic source of quick energy, and even the downside of the void is not so bad. You can deal with that. My favorite thing is to use the hologram to pull it out of the draw pile, or out of the discard pile rather. Use hologram, pull the void back into your hand, and it'll exhaust when you end your turn, so you don't even lose that future energy, assuming you don't need that one energy from hologram to do something else. But if you've got the extra energy, why not? Love doing that. Charge battery is a very nice block common that I would take early in a run, but this was a late pickup here, and it's just one more little extra energy attached to some block that you might already want to use anyway, so makes playing Meteor Strike just a little bit easier. Ice Cream is one of my favorite relics, and it was great for Meteor Strike in this run. Anytime I didn't need any extra energy at the end of a turn, I could just bank it and then use it on Meteor Strike whenever I drew it later. With all of the energy generating cards the defect has, along with the plasma orbs, it's quite easy to generate much more energy than you need on any given turn, even with a significant amount of draw in deck. So Ice Cream on the defect is an amazing relic to have. Having already had the Ice Cream relic in my deck, I knew another energy relic would pop off even faster, so I could take the Sozo, even though this is probably my least favorite relic for the energy relics. It was acceptable here just because of all the energy generation we were doing. This made it even faster. Art of War is really nice on the defect, especially when you're running some kind of like frost power block deck, which was basically what we were doing here. The chances of us not playing an attack on a turn were pretty good a lot of the time, so this was generating a lot of energy over the run for us. Frozen Eye was not a component of energy, but because it shows your draw pile in order, it made it very easy for us to plan ahead of time how we might get energy in preparation for playing Meteor Strike, perhaps on a later turn with our Ice Cream. So having something that totally removes the randomness of the cards that you get, or at least the knowledge of the cards you will get, makes playing Meteor Strike really easy, because it is a card that takes a little bit of setting up. And when you need to set up a card, knowing the draw is very, very valuable. And as I said before, just a quick shout out for a lot of the draw cards that were very helpful to have. Cool-Headed Plus did a lot of work getting us cards very quickly. Skim is another great draw card for the defect. And Hologram Plus is not draw, but it is even better than draw in my opinion. Going into your discard pile is a very uncommon, unique effect, and being able to play a card that you've already played, go get it, play it again, that means you can play your best cards more often. So, even better than draw. If you see a hologram, take it. Alright, now that we've talked about some of the important cards and relics of our deck, let's go see it in action. We'll pick up this Time Eater fight starting from turn 3. We see Aggregate in our hand. We're going to play that, of course. Then, with all this energy, we skim using our Frozen Eye. We know that we've got Meteor Strike coming up, so we know exactly what we need to do to get it, and we got it. we pick it up again here on turn 6. We've banked 16 energy already. We can play whatever we want. So we go into that draw pile with our skim, just to get a full hand to spend this energy. And all I'm really thinking about is the Time Eater card counter. And once I figure that out, I play a couple cards trying to see if I can get him down on this turn, but I'm not quite able. You can see here the problem I ended up having with aggregate later is that many of my cards would exhaust out. They were powers, and it stopped returning any profit on energy, so didn't end up working out here. Compile Driver was a draw card that I didn't mention in the intro, but was very powerful. And you'd think with Ice Cream I would be getting off big tempests all the time, but this is actually the first time the whole run I was able to get off a nice big tempest there. But it did feel pretty good, and it gets us very close to killing Time Eater, but not quite. Meteor Strike for the kill. We will pick up here from turn 4 of Shield and Spear. Double energy and skim with Meteor Strike right on the top. So we have plenty of energy. Get that Meteor Strike out of there. Kill the spear. And we get a nice big Tempest to finish off the shield. We even get really great upgrades out of that relic. Alright, we're going to pick it up from the very beginning of the hard fight. And I want to let this thing play pretty much all the way through. I do have the energy right away to play the Meteor Strike, but after I do a little bit of thinking and I look at the draw pile, I want to make sure that I get this bias cognition off with the artifact so I can avoid the focus loss, and I think in the long run that will be very helpful for the heart fight with lots of frost orbs to do blocking against the big attacks. So I don't get the Meteor Strike off quite yet. Here on turn 2, we want to start getting our orbs going. We are not fully able to block here, but we do get a lot of important powers in play to set ourselves up. And we've done such a good job blocking up to this point that taking a little damage there isn't the end of the world. Next turn, we're looking really good. We can full block, and we're going to get lots of energy that we can put in the bank. So, very happy with that turn. Here am I delighted to not only see Turbo and Aggregate, but sitting just 4 cards away, able to be skimmed quite nicely into my hand, is Meteor Strike, allowing me to play it. What I'm thinking about here is spending a little bit of this extra energy now to hologram something, and I'm just trying to figure out what will be the best, and I end up deciding on the Glacier to get some Frost Orbs ready for his next big attack that he's going to be doing soon here. As I said before, Compile Driver here with a variety of orbs gives us very nice draw, pulling us 2 Glaciers, which will be more than enough. We've got lots of Frost Orbs, easily full blocking without even trying very hard. I spent most of this turn just kind of fooling around, not doing much, with the idea that hopefully I can get into Meteor Strike for the lethal blow. I do draw it, and I've got the hologram in hand. I probably should have been able to pull something back, but it was getting kind of late and I was just happy to be done, so near lethal enough for that Meteor Strike. Alright, so now that we've taken a look at this deck in action, let's look at a couple of the missing pieces that we didn't have but are good to keep an eye out for in your runs. Rebound is a great all-around support card that allows you to play your best cards more often. Fusion is another way for the defect to generate energy, and it really wants an upgrade. For only 1 energy, you get 1 plasma, and once you have that, it's really good to have Recursion. Again, another one that you really want to upgrade, and that is essentially free energy that you can keep on renewing, and you'll be always positive. When you have lots of extra energy, Reinforced Body is an X-cost card that is great for solving the heart fight by giving you lots of block quickly. Multicast always leads to crazy shenanigans, especially if it involves plasma. If you get a plasma orb up front when you're already stored a couple extra energy, this will lead to silly amounts of energy. Recycle is nice for just getting 5 quick energy by exhausting Meteor Strike. Often you don't really need long-term energy to solve a quick hallway fight, but 5 extra energy for 1 turn with lots of draw is good enough to solve the hallway fight right now. Coffee Dripper is one of my favorite energy relics, and I think it's a really safe take with a deck like this one because the strength of the orb block generation with the Frost Orbs is going to be making sure that you never take lots of damage that you'll need to rest. Snecko is another great way to reduce the cost of Meteor Strike by randomizing the cost. It will always be cheaper, and it can never be more than 3 energy. Mummified Hand, if you have several powers, can give you a good chance to get a free Meteor Strike off, and that is always a good thing. Pocket Watch can make your turn after playing Meteor Strike even better. Once you get that 5 energy, you might not be able to play any more than 2 more cards. So, call it a day. Next turn, you're going to have more energy and more draw. Well, thank you for watching all the way to the end. I hope this was helpful and gave you ideas for how you might be able to use Meteor Strike in your decks in the future. As always, thank you for watching. Please drop a like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And see you soon. Thanks for watching Ruckus Gaming.